midst of writing the song, you start down a life path, and the artist has cried. Not because the song sucks.
Oh, this artist did this on tour, or we're bad.
Sure.
And yes, nobody likes hypocrisy.
Yeah. That is just gross to God. I'm so comfortable that this is not pride, but I am not jaded by it at all. I'm just as encouraged as I was 30 years ago, starting this, going, no, the power of truth wrapped up in some poetry and a great melody still encourages. And it was funny, we write a lot of Christmas songs in the summertime. I kind of think sometimes at a funeral for a songwriter, they ought to be able to give out a playlist or something. These are the 10 that he wishes you could have heard somewhere. Sometimes you hear a song and you're like, I know where they got that. I know where that song came from.
What's your favorite Christmas song you wish you would have written?
Oh, I do. I unashamedly have always loved Christmas music.
If you're writing a song and you're like, when do you kind of go, I think this is going to reach people, this is going to resonate? Welcome to the Salty Christians YouTube channel. Merry Christmas. My name is Matt, and the mission of this YouTube channel is to tell stories, introduce you to people who are being salt and light in their sphere of influence. I hope that after you watch this video, you'll be encouraged and inspired to go be salt and light in your world. Today, I get to introduce you to Tony Wood. Tony, welcome to the Salty Christians YouTube channel.
Thank you for having me, Matt. Good to be here with you.
So, we got to do a quick tour of this studio here. So you are a songwriter.
I am.
And I was doing a little looking up online. You've written over 900 songs.
Recorded.
I've
been a writer here for about 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years
at this point.
Okay.
So.
And
a little bit of time for that to occur.
You've got a new book coming out.
I do.
So of all those songs, you've got a lot of Christmas songs.
I do. I unashamedly have always loved Christmas music. And so that was kind of part of the beginning of this.
Yeah, well, then I guess let's just jump in real quick, because we're going to talk about some of the songs you've written, but you've written so many Christmas songs that you decided, I'm going to make a devotional for. Is that how the story goes? Or?
I had a relationship with Focus on the Family through a previous book that I had done. And the song Manger Throne came up one day in just a conversation, and then just batting it back and forth. It was like, well, could there be just a Christmas devotional? Do you have enough Christmas songs recorded by artists that people may be interested in? It was like, I think I do. Let me go back home and do a little research and kind of pull some titles together. And I did.
So. You did. Well, and over here we got on the wall. I mean, I'm seeing, so Manger Throne, Phil Wickham recorded, right?
Yep.
And then
several things on the Michael W. Freeze the Frame. Sometimes Every Christmas.
I was listening to that on the way over here this morning. Yeah. To get in the Christmas spirit. And actually, I should tell people down below, or at the end of this video, I'm going to put a link. I'll make a playlist of the 28 songs that are featured in that devotional.
Yeah.
And so, you did the Tasha Layton Christmas.
I did.
Very cool. So what's the difference between writing a Christian song and then a Christmas Christian song?
I think what I love about Christmas songs, particularly for a whole lot of artists, Christmas is a playtime. Because they have the style that they normally do on their general records, but sometimes at Christmas they can go, I'm going to go very soulful, I'm going to go very blues, I'm going to go very Appalachian, I'm going to go very high church. There's just a lot of variety and play for them.
Bigger creative lane. That's cool. Hold the book back out again. So read just some of the songs or artists where these devotionals are going to be about. Like who's going to love this devotional the most? Who's it for?
Well, I hope people who are fans of Christian music, who know these artists, there's a list somewhere in it I can find. There are Tasha Layton songs here for King and Country, Michael W., Jason Crabb, We Are Messengers, Keith and Kristen Getty. There is the Manger Throne by Phil Wickham, Mandisa, Paul and Hannah McClure, Point of Grace, Stars Go Dim, Zach Williams, Carrie Job.
Well,
28 days, 28 songs. There's a QR code
I was going to ask, is there a place where people can
for the Spotify, the Apple, the YouTube playlist, so that you can play the song that goes along with the day's devotion.
Yeah, because I was thinking that's the beautiful thing about it is you can kind of hear the heart behind the song and hear the song Christmas morning.
Somebody at Focus had the great idea.
The great idea.
It's not my idea, but I was like, yes, love that one.
Yeah. So speaking of Christmas songs, what's your favorite Christmas song you wish you would have written?
Oh, it's well, I go with the Nat King Cole Christmas song. When those strings start in, chestnuts, it's like, that's it right there. But I'm in awe, craft-wise, of "I'll Be Home for Christmas." I've talked with the songwriting buddies about it. Like it's 8 short lines with a knife twist at the end of "But only if only in my dreams." Like that's great crafting, right there.
Well, and speaking of crafting, so I've got to imagine as a songwriter, you're always walking around like with your phone. Like there's always ideas, right?
Sure.
What makes for a good idea? Like even Manger Throne. I mean, talk about that. I'd like to hear the story behind taking this idea of a manger and a throne, like two kind of opposing ideas. But
golly, for me, well, I mean, look right here. There's a stack of Post-it notes. all parts of life in my truck beside the bed. So much starts with Post-it notes for me, or just or having the phone handy, because you never know when it's going to start. I've got a buddy who's got a quote on his piano that says, "Aren't writers the worst? They just raid life." And it's like anything in any conversation at any point is fair game for the song. Yeah. And I've done it long enough to know, like, if you say something today that the song's like, I got enough of a poker face. I'm not going to go, I'm not going to show you in that moment that you've just dropped something golden. But you just don't know. I mean, it's sermons, books, podcasts, movies, music, sometimes hearing something wrong in a song. Oh, I thought they said, I like this better. There's no telling where it's going to come from, but the antenna's always up. Some people just have better antennas than other people are always catching. Sometimes you hear a song and you're like, I know where they got that. I know where that song came from in that book. It's funny. I remember years ago reading whatever, like the second Max Lucado book, like God Came Near, and there was a page of question. I think it was called Questions for Mary, and like I dog-eared that page. Was like, there's something here, and then about 2 years later, heard Mary, Did You Know? And it was like, that's it. That's where that came from. So
when I bet Christmas songs that are coming out this year were probably inspired from Christmases past.
Yeah, and it was funny. We write a lot of Christmas songs in the summertime in this town, in just the cycle of release, or some that got recorded this year but may not even release until next year. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I see a wall of photos here. Maybe give people a little bit of tour. So this is your home office.
This is. I don't really work in here most days.
You're more around town, right?
I'm out wherever the artist, wherever the producer tends to be most days. But then I'm here at night, and I just put up some things that are meaningful to me. Yeah. Because I look at this and just go, and it's friends along the way.
Oh, 30 years. I mean, you have gone from records to cassettes. Maybe not records,
well,
but cassettes.
Yeah, not as much. But funny how vinyl now has come back around. It's like I've tried to get a copy of everything I've had recorded while it's in print, because they disappear, and now finally coming back around to I've got some things on vinyl now, which I kind of missed that window.
Your CD case back here is reminding me of my childhood and college.
I was really intentional when songs come out to try to get a copy to have, because people will ask, and a lot of them too, because I've written a lot of church music along the way, so I've got Easter and Christmas musicals and other things down there, and still almost monthly get a request for, hey, this song our church did 10 years ago. It's out of print now, and if it's out of print, I'll just copy it and send them a copy until businesses get all that digitized and back into the swing of things.
So this is not your first book. I see right here. I'm glad.
Yes. I did that about 2 or 3 years ago
Yeah.
with Focus on the Family. Lord, help me pray for my kids.
And what's the...
It was
What spurred that on?
It really came off of a song. Was the very beginning of that. I wrote a prayer years ago with Mark Harris, who's in called "Find Your Wings," and it was a prayer for our kids of what they would dream, what they would do, where they would go in their life, and out of that came the opportunity to do this book. And it's 365 prayers. It's just a prayer a day, a topic. I went through a lot of scripture. I had notebooks that I keep here that I prayed for my kids through the years, but kind of expanded that. Some topics pray multiple days throughout the year, but just a lot of who they're going to be down the road, and now I pray for my grandkids. Yeah. So
that's awesome.
That was the start of that.
That's great. I'm just looking around here for other photos anyone to recognize. We realized we got a lot of mutual connections, but we've never met.
Yeah.
Oh, there you are with the Focus on the Family guys.
Yeah, I recorded that show a couple of months back for this book, and it'll come out in about 3 weeks. On Focus on the Family broadcast. Yeah.
Well, so the goal of the channel I was telling you is I want to inspire people to be salt and light. And the way that you're being salt and light is writing songs that people, we were just talking about, like we have so many visitors here in Nashville, and when they get in their rental car, they get to turn on the radio, and hopefully they get to hear a song that you've been able to write, and it points them to Jesus. So maybe just talk about maybe the honor, the privilege, or just what is it like to, your sphere of influences, in writing rooms around here. How is Salt and Light in the music industry, the Christian music industry?
Well, there's writing Salt and Light, but then there's also being Salt and Light in the midst of that process. I go back to, just a kid growing up, and church music got a hold of me. Choir music, top 40 radio was important. Those two kind of came together in the late 70s and in the 80s in college, starting to hear Amy Grant, Michael W. Smith, artists like that doing things. Was like, oh, I love that. That could be amazing. And I started writing myself just in my small church, and never stopped. Just kind of
kept on going.
And nobody told me, hey, stop doing that. Nobody really encouraged me to keep on doing it either. But through college and student ministry was a major influence at our church on my life. So that's what I kind of prepared for. But even in that part of schooling, I kept writing so much. It was like kind of the call of Nashville was out there. It's like, okay, if you're going to be involved in it, you got to get to Nashville at some point. So finished up school. My wife and I moved here knowing absolutely nobody whatsoever. And it took a few years to kind of, get our feet on the ground and get to learning. But God was good and opened up doors in His time to get to know a publisher and have a champion who believed in me. Yeah.
Do you remember the first time you heard one of your songs on the radio?
Oh yeah.
What was it?
Blackman Road up here. You always remember that. It was the first CCM single that I had ever had.
Okay.
It was a song by Ray Boltz called "Saving Grace." Really? When he went to Word Records, he had "Thank You," "Watch the Lamb," all
That's
of those. Word made kind of a pop record on him. Ray had always written everything on his own, but on the Word record, cut one outside song. It was a song that I'd been a part of with Danny Myrick and Brent Ronald, and it was the first single off the record. It was my first AC single, first number one song ever at radio. And I remember exactly in this town. I can go to the spot where I was driving home, work flipping channels, and go, okay, that's it. It's funny because other guys have laughed with. You dream of that moment. Yeah. By the time that happens to you, you have dreamed that for 10 years. Yeah. Could ever have one song on radio. And you have never dreamed once beyond that moment. When that song goes off and next up we have whoever, you're like, okay,
now what?
Now what? I mean, fortunately, I've written a whole bunch of other songs. There's stuff in the pipeline, and you're still going. But there's just this thing that happens in that moment. Like, okay, check that off the list. Deeply grateful.
Yeah.
I hope that's not the only time
Yeah.
I ever have.
Well, I think that's a good message for everybody, because I read a book recently. I was talking about in the sports world and how athletes, they want to win the Super Bowl, the World Series, whatever it is, and then they win it, and then they're like,
oh,
now
sure.
what? And if you're not a Christian, you can go into depression.
Oh,
like if your
yeah.
identity is wrapped up into writing a number one hit song.
Yeah.
Talk about that, because I think that's something anybody can relate to, is whatever career you're in, whatever you're doing, like,
golly,
you want
tying identity to it.
Yeah.
There's this, I couldn't find it right now if I had to, but there's this terribly awful quote by Tom Brady on something. He goes, I dreamed of having Super Bowl rings, and here I sit and look at however many he has, 4 or 5, something like
I think
that.
It's 7,
and goes in like, and yet that doesn't satisfy.
Yeah.
It's like, it's an awful, deeply truthful quote. And I think that's a danger for anything in any line of work. It's tying identity to doing that. And yet, have we all done it at some points? Of course. I mean, in the grossest of ways, it becomes, look at what I did, look at what I've accomplished, look at who I am. Like, that is just gross to God. Yeah. And at some point, your own eyes are open and go, even if, I don't think I was ever one who would say that kind of stuff out loud to anybody anyway, but golly, in the heart, we sure go there at moments to validate ourselves and to feel like, oh, I am somebody. And even in that, when you realize inside yourself, it's like, you are really at a bad place, buddy. If you're tying identity to what you've done. And it's a struggle with our flesh always to just die to self and go, God, thank you for the opportunity to do this thing, but don't let me see, oh, you're happy with me now that I have accomplished this. It's like, nope, I want to be faithful in the doing of the thing. So, about a year back, somebody, I won't get the quote exactly right, but he said, what if the holy assignment was the session, the song, the being with the people in the room at that time? What if that's what it's all about? And it's really kind of changed some things for me. It's like, I want to be really caring about people that I'm with. Hey, are we good? What's going on in your life? Is something I can pray for you about? So you don't want to be tying your identity to the things that you've done. And sometimes, I've talked with a friend about, what if the holy assignment was the session itself, the time in a room with 3 people, and you care for one another. Gosh, just sit down before your eyes and say, hey, what? Because a lot of times you're seeing buddies that you haven't seen for a couple of weeks, months, sometimes longer than that. How you doing? How's your family? Anything we can be praying about, making sure everybody's good, everybody's fully present in the moment. And then beyond that, start looking like, okay, what can we do together today? And I enjoy the process more than probably most anybody in the room, because I'm committed to that. I will enjoy the hunt and the chase of what's the idea and how do we build it and how do we shape it, because maybe something good happens beyond that, and 9 out of 10 times nothing happens with that.
And if you went into that room only to get a song, you're going to come out maybe a little empty if you didn't come with the song. But if you were able to pour into someone's life, and know that something eternal happened, and just I've had a guest on a couple months ago, and she was talking about, Jesus lived an interruptible life, so are we able to,
great word.
Even coming into a writing room when, we got to write a Christmas song for the next Christmas record, or a new song that's going to go on the Christian radio.
And maybe it will.
And maybe it will or won't. But
for most guys, most of the time it won't.
Exactly.
You have a couple of guys who have that hot streak where, it's a pretty high batting average for a while, but boy, the sports metaphor is just pretty real there about the streaks and then it cools off. But you still step up to the plate.
I love that. My Jesus, I love.
My 2 favorite hymns. My family had those framed and gave them to me one day for some occasion. My Jesus, I love thee, and When I Survey the Wondrous Cross. Just 2 of them.
Wow. So what makes for like if you're writing a song and you're like, when do you kind of go, I think this is going to reach people, like this is going to resonate? Is there? I mean, and again, there's no formula because you just said like some people make it on a head.
Because you don't know. I mean, you have those days where you see the potential of it. Yeah. If this song gets a shot, because I grew up in a small and medium-sized church. I still, to this day, I write for the guy in the fifth row. The guys out there working a job, wife and kids drove to church. They might have argued in the car on the way to church. That's happened to us all. And they get to church and they just crash in the pew, and it's like, it's kind of somebody give me something because my tank's kind of on empty. I want to remind them who God is. That's a theme I feel like has just crossed decades. This is, we can give them cleverness, but if we can give them character of God, that won't fail. So I've got to be knowing who He is. I got to be constantly feeding myself with, this is who He is. And I think writers bear a responsibility for that, to continue to feed your soul with meaty things. You got to find good preaching. You got to find good books, or you don't have much.
You don't have a tank to draw from.
You really don't. But if we can pull that and keep, this is who God is, and put that in front of them somehow with a song. Now, it can look stylistically a lot of different ways. But that's giving something to people, I think.
That's good.
And you hope you do, and then you hope it gets out there. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Writer buddies have laughed about, to be in this town and to be doing it means you will die with some of your favorite songs completely unheard. I kind of think sometimes at a funeral for a songwriter, they ought to be able to give out a playlist or something. These are the 10 that he wishes you could have heard somewhere along the way. And then other times you will buy groceries with a ditty for a couple of hours that you put together with it. You hope you do good work on that. I'm not meaning that in a demeaning way, but it's just a little feel-good song that somebody that helped them set their mind on Jesus, but they drove home from work a little happier. But when the ones that are meaty and significant to you, when they land on a record, or an artist starts to stage them live, or they go to radio, that is the most deeply satisfying. That feels like I'm taking a piece of this is me and putting it out there for people to hear.
For it to impact more people.
Well, and sometimes you get that chance. There are those songs along the way that do. And that satisfies at the deepest of levels.
Yeah, well, and that, I mean, again, like this channel, hopefully after people hear these stories, they go and be salt and light. When they're in their car and they're hearing one of these songs, hopefully it's not just tickling their ears, it's encouraging them to go deeper with Jesus and go share Jesus with other people. Like I just keep on going back to, like, what would it, imagine a world if every Christian was being salt and light in their sphere of influence, in their giftings, and clearly God's given you the gift to hear an idea and put it to lyric, and so this video is not for just the songwriters in the world. This is for anyone. God's given you a gift and ability. Whatever your passion is.
I'll tell you a piece of that comes to mind that was significant in my story was, going back to living in Virginia. I was like, is this crazy? I mean, am I really... Is this just a pipe dream? I just need to get a real job somewhere. I mean, there was a season of life is like, okay, if I'm going to do it, there's the window coming up in 2 years when I graduate. If we're going to make a move. And there was a sermon by John MacArthur on God's will. And the sermon was, there's some things that are obviously God's will. It's God's will that you be saved. It's God's will that you be sanctified, that you be serving in your world somehow. And beyond that, he landed it on Psalm 37 verse 4, delight in the Lord and he will give you the desires of your heart. Delight in that finding your complete joy and life in who God is. Are you delighting in him? Okay, then he will give you the desires. It's not like hand give, it's not like hand give, it's like put within you. He will, if you're delighting in him, he will put within you the desires of your hearts. This is so, what do you want to do for him?
Yeah.
And in that I thought, I would love to write songs, maybe. And there in that was the slightest bit of permission to pursue this, to go, oh wait, maybe this isn't just me wanting something. Maybe this really is wiring, and
Well, and it's got to be, I mean, just a testament of his faithfulness. Like looking across this room, like, yeah, it's plaques and awards, but it's bigger than that. It is how many millions of people.
It's people.
Yeah, who have been touched by a song that God planted in your heart, and you stewarded it well.
Yeah. I'm so comfortable that this is not pride. This is because I look at that and go, golly, that was a great day. Yeah. Man, Francesca Battistella, golly, love her. We got enough time in the room together. God, she loves Jesus. Matt, her husband, great guy. Golly, appreciate them as friends. Their platform. Love it when she cuts my songs. Can cheer for her just as easily when she does them. So that's, I see the people. I don't have a lot of stories in this town of being disappointed with artists. That I got a whole lot of stories of, I don't know them. They're out there on the radio, or I see them in concert. God, could there ever be a time when we get together and some of the business things happen, and I get to sit in the room just like with you right now, and I continue to find they just love Jesus. They love good songs that get out and because they're ministered to by songs, and I get the power of it.
I'm going to share just a personal story. That's encouraging to hear from you, because I think it's easy, because I've worked in Christian music for 25 years, and you usually only hear the bad stories, right? Like, oh, this artist did this on tour and we're bad.
Sure.
And like, yes, nobody likes hypocrisy and all that, but like, what you're saying rings true. Like 99% of the people I've interacted with in the Christian music industry are love Jesus. They consider it an honor to be able to create music and content and tours to lift the name of Jesus up. And it just happens to also be, paying the bills, which is awesome that you'd be able to do something you love. But I think that's something to, because it is easy, and this is just natural human nature, is to gravitate towards the drama and the trauma and the bad, and it's like,
and your heart breaks that too, because some of those people you've been in this close proximity to, and it's like, golly, and it's sobering to all of us. But I am not jaded by it at all. I'm just as encouraged as I was 30 years ago starting this, going, no, the power of truth wrapped up in some poetry and a great melody still encourages, still gives hope, still helps me express my worship to God with words that I may not have previously had. Still encouraged.
There's a music quote here. Or it's a quote. I've got it on a pillow at home. No, it's one that, and I'm gonna. You're looking. He's looking around. Where is it? No, it's I've got it and I've heard it, but I don't know who to attribute it to. So I'm gonna see if you know it. It says, "When words fail, music speaks." Does that ring a bell?
I don't know that one.
Okay, I gotta. We'll Google it. We'll AI it and figure that out.
Funny, it would have been helpful if they'd had the
artist. Now I understand.
By the song.
that was actually impressive that you were able to. All right, and so at the end of every episode, I like to ask my guests, a time when they feel like they are available for the Lord to work through them to be salt and light. Because I think there's many times I know I personally will miss those opportunities, but when I do it, I'm like, I feel alive. I'm like, okay, that's God wanted me to use me for this time, this moment. Sure. And so I'd love to hear a story of when you feel like, the Lord used you as salt and light in life.
What comes to mind for that is how much you value people. It's like, okay, do you think I believe songs matter? I really do believe that songs matter. But I believe songs pale compared to how much people matter. And you give space for them to be there. What comes to mind is in the last 4 weeks, I've had 2 sessions where in the midst of writing the song, you start down a life path, and the artist has cried. Not because the song sucks, but they cry because it connected to story, and just stuff came out, and you kind of kill the music, look away from the laptop, you're not typing any, and you just do life for about 20 minutes. And that's my take home at the end of both of those days. It was like to be there in those situations at the end, you just go, hey, before we jump back in a song, because that feels like a horrific bad turn. It's like, can we just pray together about this for what's going on? And man, those are sweet moments.
Yeah.
I don't take them for granted, but I think it does require writers, and it is a town of people who care about people. So you got to be present and let people be where they are. We have a task we'd like to get to and get that done, but life and people matter more.
You may be in a mainstream workplace where you don't have a corporate prayer, but use your discernment and go up to someone.
But you're having a work-related conversation with somebody, and you can tell they're not at a good place. Let me pick into that as lightly as I can. Exactly. And if the door opens, man, I want to communicate. I'm here for you to care for you.
That's good. Well, the book Manger Throne, it's 28 days, right?
Yes.
28. I mean,
it starts on December the 1st.
Okay.
It gets you a couple days past Christmas.
Okay.
With a devotion and a prayer for each day.
Yeah.
And they're connected to a song. You can play the song along during your quiet time.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm gonna put a link to the book down below. I'm gonna create like a YouTube playlist. So people are on YouTube right now. You can, at the end of this video, you can click, listen to the playlist of the songs, and get yourself the book. And like I always say, stay salty and shine bright. Merry Christmas.